Okay, so I wanted to go through this. Last night, as I was about to go to bed, I turned on my phone, which I do every day, every night to listen to white noise, and this notification come up, and I see that this Shauner fella has got my one of my videos, and he's done a 3 hour thing on it. Well, I had to know, so I stayed up and I watched it. I got as much. It had already started because YouTube won't give you a notification promptly. It's anywhere from 10 to 45 minutes late. So I came in late. So I rewound it as best as I could find and went back, um, so I could listen to the whole thing in its entirety. Uh, it, it was really ironic. Well, not really ironic, but it was somewhat that I had just found this Shauner individual. It was one of those, when you watch a video, a list of videos on the one side comes up like suggestions or whatever, and I just started saying I'm going to just try to watch more of these RPG things. If you had people who view my videos frequently or watch me on Twitter, I had mentioned, hey, I just kind of got turned on to this whole RPG panel thing, and so I thought I kind of found it interesting, and I was going to spend more time looking at them. So I was going through and adding subscriptions and stuff. So I'd watched a couple of his videos. They were interesting, and a lot of it had to do with this elite role play stuff, and yeah, that doesn't really interest me that much. But I did find some of it. It's always neat to look at what other people are doing, and so I was watching some of that from the Mr. Max and a guy named Crispy. His screen name's Crispy. It was entertaining. Um, I Back in the heyday, or at least what I consider the heyday, I found people like that. I usually found them kind of insufferable. I found it a little obnoxious. To me, they reminded me of the thespian crowd from high school, and those people and never really appealed to me. And um, I understand that, and I find a game that is got people role playing, or making the attempt interesting. But um, the thing about these people, and self-described by Shauner himself, is I'm trying to find more of them. I'm trying to spread the word and make more of them. Okay, well, now you've taken your individual twist on the game and turned it into some crusade, and you it's like dealing with a door-to-door salesman. Nobody asked you to come up and preach your shit, and nobody wants to buy it or listen to it. It's kind of intrusive. So um, I'm not really down with the whole crusader side of the thing. So um, but anyway, the video, it was interesting because I thought, well, at the very least, I'll have somebody that's watching a video and I'll be able to get some feedback, even if it's coming from somebody who apparently chose it to rip on it. And so it led me to a couple of questions. Why out of the? I assume he got it off of YouTube. I don't even remember putting it on YouTube. I might have even deleted it. I don't know. If you got it off of Twitter, okay, fine. So, but that leads me to the next thing. Um, I'd love to know how he discovered it and why he chose it out of whatever. You know, did you get it on Twitter? Did it come up on your feed? Because I don't ever get any accurate analytics. So anyway, all those kind of questions, I thought maybe at least some of them will be answered. And if I'm unclear, or um, at least I'll get something out of that. And he did say that it appeared to be that I didn't finish a thought. Well, and I went and rewatched it, and the problem was is it seemed that way because he stops and starts. He'll stop the video mid sentence, and then commentate, and then interact with the people watching, sometimes for as long as 20 minutes before a restart, and you lose your place. You don't remember the context of the statement, and if you start a sentence midway through instead of beginning, sometimes the interpretation can uh, be affected. So, at some cases, he actually says, okay, well, based on this statement, he thinks that rules are too complicated. And if you're a regular follower of me, you know it's my pet peeve to hear people bitching about complicated rules, because none of these rules are really that complicated. They're just toys. They're just games. So he would get the exact opposite. The other thing that really um, I found mysterious was he constantly refers to me as a 2D gamer. I've never even role played online in front of a recording. Nobody's ever seen me do it. Now, I don't care about elite status or any of that horse shit. I'm thinking, where is he getting that from? Is there something? Is it an assumption? Because at one point during the video, he claims there's like only 5 people in the whole state of California that actually role play the right way, and there's only about 10 on the East Coast, and goes through every continent on the planet. Somehow apparently he's in touch with everybody who role plays properly because it's such a rarity. Okay, so I guess by default that makes everybody else 2D, because we can only be half as good. Nobody can be 3. I don't know. And then one point, for about an hour and a half or more, I didn't even think he realized that it was a scaling system 1 through 4, because he only mentions 2 and 4. And so I wasn't sure what that was. But at one point he finally mentions 3, and he goes, well, 3 is pretty much 4. Okay. So, and this was the part of the thing that I brought up with it, that all jargon in these gaming circles is malleable. OSR does not have a hard definition. Some people say, well, if you don't have my definition, you have a wrong definition. Well, but you'll go to somebody else with a different definition and they'll have the same interpretation. So maybe that's ego or whatever, but there's actually a lot. Everything's malleable. And a lot of these debates and arguments come from people who just have a different understanding of the definition of a particular phrase, like rule 0 versus rules as written or something like that. So, but then there's the whole mockery of categorization. And there's a lot of contradiction here. At one point, we're talking about 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D, which are categories that would divide people. And you say, well, how does that divide people? Well, there's this thing where it seems like everything is a real super literal definition with this fella. And if you a figure of speech doesn't work, and he gets irritated if you use it as a figure of speech or as a colloquialism or something like that, like role play. If you're all playing a role playing game, I'm going to describe it as playing a role playing game. It says right on the package, it's a role playing game. You're playing it. His beef is those people that aren't doing it my way aren't doing it the right way, and therefore they're not doing it at all. So when they say that they're role playing, they're wrong. They're using the wrong terminology, and that makes me mad, and then I start engaging them. Okay, so by his own description, he seeks out, like a rhino seeks out fire, people who are misusing or abusing the definition of the phrase role playing game, and then puts his spotlight on them by putting them on his thing. So apparently somewhere, somehow, I've done that. And maybe it's because, like I say, I refer to people who are playing any of these products as playing a role-playing game, because it's just descriptive. It's shorthand versus saying, well, they were pseudo playing, or they were, all this shit. And apparently, if you put miniatures out, you're playing a board game. And so there again, you can have your opinions on how to play, you can have your style of play, but when you say that if I've used the miniatures that I bought from TSR to play the TSR game, I'm now playing a board game, you're wrong. There's not a debate there. You're just wrong. Um, Using miniatures and the idiotic aversion to it's just senseless. It's just stupid. You can have, you know, you can have plenty of imagination and also have a frame of reference to keep things um, cohesive. If things in that, because I've listened to other of his videos where he's like, well, nobody knows exactly where they're standing in this room exactly, and nobody wants to hear everybody give out their position every 30 seconds. He says that's role playing. I say that's boring and gives me a headache as a DM. You can lay out a box, call it a room, draw on a little map or something, and put your people in the positions they are, just for frame of reference. Nothing wrong with that. Not a board game. That's a bunch of bullshit. So, um, so there's that problem. So, like I say, certain things were just he misinterpreted things because he broke things up. Other things were just overt statements that were kind of, you know, making declarative, definitive things like this is fun and nothing else is fun. He didn't say that one, but there are a lot of people that do that. And that's the pet peeve I have. I will find somebody that says I won't go looking for them, but if they say that in a conversation I'm going to get pissed because that's obnoxious. Well, you play Panzerblitz and that's not fun. Not fun for you. Fun for me. I don't give a shit about your opinion on it. I didn't ask. So, but when you make declarative statements like VTT doesn't work, it's bullshit. And as he says, he doesn't like being lied to. Well, neither do I, and I don't like making up lies about things. VTT works, and it works for a lot of people. And and you can role play over it. The idea that you can't, he made that statement. That's just bullshit. There's just no argument. It's just wrong. I don't know why so many people um, have to run that stuff down. You're you're literally. Oh, they also kind of mock the idea of having any concern about the hobby being, continuing. That the idea that new players keep it from dying is bullshit. Well, that's just crazy. If you have a club and all the members get old and die and no new members come, then you don't have the club anymore. So yes, you do need to bring new players. People move on. There was, again, another contradiction. We don't need new players. That's silly. But then in other parts of the video, he mentions how some people move on. They just stop playing because they have something better to do or just get you, and that happens. So if you have a group of 5 people and 3 of them drop out, you either stop playing or you find 3 new people. Those people may have never played the game again. You may have to entice them to learn. You may have to pique their interest. That's how you sell things to people. So, um, it was kind of a weird thing. It's no big deal, but I did get a little bit. It, it's it's kind of low class to start calling people stupid, kind of childish. Um, and let's see what else. The elite thing. That's a label you have used yourself. Don't think that anybody is stupid or not a role player because they won't give you the world heavyweight champion title that you think you deserve, because you probably don't deserve it. So, um, so there's that. Um, but there was a little bit of a passive aggressive thing too. I don't really want to get into defending other people or talking about other people in any type of bickering thing. But apparently, he and Bear has accused him of being divisive and destructive to the hobby and things like that. And and I thought, maybe it's a little wound up. But after listening to a while, there was some passive aggressive stuff, like being a troll, like going into a forum, dropping a grenade and saying some shit and then walking out or whatever. You know, that that kind of behavior irritates people, and for good reason. And what's even more irritating is that passive aggressive, well, I'm not doing anything. It's no big deal. What are you getting so bent out of shape for? Get the fuck out of here with that dumb shit. That's the kind of thing I dealt with eighth grade, you know, peers in school. Stupid. So there were some opinions that or statements that were just dumb. Um, but that's okay, I guess. I did enjoy the couple of them that I watched that he made. I probably won't watch any more after seeing this one. I'm not butthurt. I don't care. I'm not going to cry. I don't care about your opinion of my takes on RPG. I just thought it was neat that maybe somebody that had a larger follower count than me might help accelerate um, you know, my channel a little bit, bring some awareness to me, which is great, um, and seeing how people interpret the way I speak and the way that I formulate these videos would be instructive. And it was to a minor degree, so that's cool. And there's unfortunately I don't know that communication with this dude is going to be possible because he seems to be kind of hostile and snobby, and I don't know if he'll say anything or even see this, and it really doesn't matter. But the questions that I'd love to have answered, if they could be, is why'd you pick this video? How'd you find this video to pick it? And he does mention that he recognized my voice and face and have seen other things I've done, and I would like to know what those are. That would just be great information. If I don't get it, it won't break my heart either. Um, so what was going to be a big lengthy to do because I was excited, kind of, I thought, you know what, he's right. This isn't that big of a deal. Very few people are going to see it, and um, the utility of the video or getting highlighted was diminished when I started to hear kind of stupid talk and trollish behavior. So anyway, pretty interesting nonetheless.